Hey guys, welcome to Nico Play. This is another 8th episode of Love, Money and Rock and Roll. So we continue our journey with our alcoholic Soviet Union comrade. And right now we met a new girl, so let's see who is that. It's rare to meet a non-Japanese person here. Oh, I didn't mean it's my first time here and I don't know you. Sorry again. She was clearly tipsy, laughed a lot, and had entered the condition where a decent lady needs but half a glass of champagne to become a chiffonier, highly sophisticated but still a piece of furniture. Why the author, our school guy, he literally thinks like a 45 years old man who trying to convince some underage girl to get drunk and use it like as a furniture, you know. Like, of course, it's a maniac and it's like a fucking crime, but our Nico in this game, he's like that. I think we need to call the cops on him, for sure. Nonetheless, I was glad to have company, especially a women's. Nice. My entire life couldn't revolve around two girls who didn't know what they want. Oh, okay. I guess you're right. We're probably the only Europeans who have visited this bar in its entire history. Not counting the bartender, of course. If the bartender Russian, then like majority of people here are Russians too. I smiled, trying to look friendly. Do you come here often? She looked to be about 25, perhaps older. Well, we like old girls. Or sometimes. So you like this place? I've been asking myself the same question a couple minutes ago. It's more like I used to it. Interesting, she said vaguely and riveted her eyes on me. You must be a student. Yes, sort of. Sort of, exactly. For some reason I couldn't lie persuasively to her and started to avert my eyes. I couldn't say I was just a high schooler. Todai? What the fuck is that? Todai is one of Japan's most famous and prestigious universities. How did you guess? Wait, he's not in university, he's in fucking high school. It just seems that you're kind of handsome and intelligent young man must study there. She abruptly stretched her hand out to me. No, she's very suspicious. Irene Dupont. Parlez-vous Francois? Oh, she's from France, okay. I was embarrassed but responded with a handshake. Nikolai Anakin. Oh, so you're from the USSR, back in USSR. And without letting me say a word, continued. Moscow is a wonderful city, I've been there, the Kremlin, the Red Square. Are you from Moscow? That. Maybe from Leningrad, a magnificent place, fabulous museums. Are you from there? Well, we know what is Leningrad, but let me read it. Leningrad is the second largest city in the USSR, presently known as St. Petersburg. Right. The legendary city, Leningrad. You could say I'm from here. Oh, that's interesting. I've just arrived recently. Strange, I could barely hear an accent. I work as an attaché at the embassy. Everything here is so... Irene spread her arms, clearly showing how exactly so everything was. But unfortunately, I don't really have much free time. Like today, we went out with my Japanese colleagues, but I lost them already. What a goofball. I think she sounds very suspicious. I think it's one of those, not spies, but agents, like KGB, CIA. It's CIA doc, for sure. She broke into loud laughter. Can you imagine? It happens. I was flattered by the attention of a girl like this. Or should I say, a woman. Her beauty wasn't the same kind as the girls I knew, of course, because she's older. Maybe Ellie, but even she lacked Irene's mature charm. So here am I now, sitting all alone. Oh, sorry, I meant to say with you. Of course, with you. Haha. She covered my hand with hers. Thank you, Nikolai, for accompanying this poor, silly mademoiselle. Thanks to you too. But enough about me. What about you? What do you study? She straightened up and removed her hand. Well, I don't even know. What a dumb thing to say. We just have some general subjects for now. I haven't just my major yet. Maybe something in liberal arts, politics, science. Political science, for sure. Can you do that? She asked with surprise. That's what I would really like to know myself. Of course, it's Todai after all. Today? I have no idea. I'm sorry, guys. Fix me in the comments. It's good to be young, Irene said. You young too? I think no. I decided it was my opportunity. Come on now, if not for your suit, I think you were a student as well. Wait, he just said it's my opportunity right now too? Holy fuck. Holy Nico-kun. Oh my god, it's his opportunity to get the girl. Do they make diplomats work on the weekends too? On weekends, on holidays, and believe it or not, on July 14th. I think it's Independence Day of Japan, right? Oh, Paris, the revolution, of course. On 14th July 1789 in Paris, France, revolutionary insurgents stormed and seized control of the medieval armory fortress Bastille, the capture of Bastille, exactly, and political prison known as the Bastille. At that time, the Bastille represented royal authority in the center of Paris. Since then, the 14th of July has been celebrated as France's National Day. Oh my god, that's the most important day, oh my god. That's going too far. Yay, not like in the USSR at all, workers' rights and the international. Let's sing, Nikolai. The song? Are you fucking stupid? Irene, I don't think that... Come on, they're singing their enkas. How are we worse? Enka is a Japanese style of music that culture resembles Russian romance, American country music, and Portuguese fado. A drunk grew up in a corner was attended tunelessly belting out a love song. I still think we will be misunderstood. Do you care about others' people's opinions so much? Don't you? You're a diplomat. For a second she froze, her eyes cleared up and certain awareness and even coldness appeared in her gaze. But the next moment she burst out laughing again. My god, I'm so drunk! Oh my god. Nikolai, has anybody ever told you that you are handsome? You're handsome. I'd be lying if I said no. Oh my god. Here we go. Then can I also say that? I didn't know what to think. Half an hour ago I considered myself an adult, or at least was sure that I could behave like an adult in any situation. And now it turned out that it took only one drunk French girl in a dilapidated bar to shatter these assumptions. On the other hand, Irene looked very attractive, even too attractive. No, only her hair? The blonde hair? Come on, give me a break. While talking, I managed to down a third of the bottle, and by then wouldn't set sights even on Saya-chan. Nikolai, you're looking at me so... The whiskey washed away the last remnants of my tiredness. That's the way anyone would look at a beautiful woman like you if they were in my place. Nicola, you're saying this to a woman you've just met. But our acquaintance doesn't have to end here, does it? Okay, let's go. Let's go, guys. Irene blushed, now seemingly from more than just alcohol, and leaned towards me, whispered in my ear. And let's get out of here. Let's go. My hands were shaking when I dropped a few large bills on the table. Please, Monsieur. She stood up unsteadily and stumbled for the exit. I leaped to her immediately and offered a hand, which she grabbed right away and sagged against. ... Finally, fresh air. When we emerged into the street, she made a deep breath and pressed herself to me. We should catch a car. No, we can walk to my place. I doubt somebody would stop. Watch and learn. She laughed, walked closer to the roadway, and waved her hand. I couldn't believe my eyes when a minute later a car stopped next to her. And what a car! An executive black sedan. Apparently I wasn't the only one struck by her beauty. Hop in! Irene called to me merrily. Well, it seemed that the fairy godmother had lost her magic wand in a bat, because Cinderella was going to come back from the ball with company and what's more, in a carriage instead of pumpkin. Oh boy. Okay, let's take the screenshot. Yeah, that's nice, but that's fucking... At first, I didn't even pay attention to the fact that the car's window were blacked out. Oh my god. Well, Nikolai, you're obviously not pretending. Oh yeah, so she's a spy. Okay, good. Irene said calmly. What? Let's go. She nodded to the driver and looked at me with such antipathy that I started fidgeting in the seat. Yeah, that's it. He's done. His kidney's gonna get thrown out. His eyeball's gonna get cutted off. That's it. Good job. Good job, bro. Irene, what's going on? Her drunk joyfulness vanished without a trace. My name is Irina Matsuvaya. Major Irina Matsuvaya, KGB USSR. Oh my fucking god. KGB USSR. That's it. GG. Good game, well played. And only then did I realize she was speaking Russian, with no hint of an accent. I mean, yeah, why would a Russian girl have an accent? No matter how long you learn a language that is different from your mother tongue, no matter how long you live in a foreign country, it will always be clear you were born and raised there. It's a completely not true. I'm not gonna tell you who I know, but I have a person in my life that came here when that person was like 18 years old, and that person had perfect English. She's Russian, of course. Perfect English. Zero accent. Like, it's completely bullshit. Out there, you're bullshitting. And I'm educating people here. That's how it seems to me, at least. Is this a joke? I still didn't fully realize what was happening. That's what I like to ask you. What does this have to do with me? Do you really not recognize me? She frowned. No, should I? Never mind. From here on, you only answer my questions, and only with relevant and concise answers. Do you know what happened to your parents? We got in a car accident. They died. I remember I was sitting in the back, so I survived. Is that not true? I am the one asking questions here. And if you want to hear the answers, I expect a dialogue. I said with unexpected determination. Irina beat her lip angrily. Yes, they died in a car accident, but their death wasn't coincidence. That's all you need to know for now. What do you know about their work? So my parents were murdered because of their work? Yes, she gave a short response. Kobayashi Corporation. It wasn't a question. So what do you know? I know nothing. You're interrogating the wrong person. I'm just a student. And what's more, an orphan. You must already have realized that Kobayashi Corporation wouldn't be interested in a mere student. But why me? Irina didn't respond. Tokyo was slowly moving by on the other side of the windows. I had no idea where we were going, and I didn't care. It was unlikely that they were going to kill me. That performance in the bar was probably just a test. To my surprise, I was able to think clearly and analyze the situation with a sober mind. That's what we like to find out. So all these calls to my house? Were they made by the corporation? No, they were from us. We wanted to warn you. But you didn't feel compelled to heed to our warnings. What should I do then? Are you sure you don't know anything? Think again. Maybe your father told you something and you forgot about it. Or maybe he left something to you, papers, documents. No. I really couldn't recall anything like that. We were a completely normal family. So, in your view, a family of Soviet engineers who fled the USSR and started working for the biggest transnational company in Japan is normal? Irina smirked. Apart from that, everything was normal. Was it, or do you simply not remember? Even if I couldn't believe my parents had been involved in something they could be killed for. Even if what you say is true, I don't know anything about that. I've never known. I found that hard to believe. You can believe whatever you want. I started using the polite version of Russian you without thinking. Oh, I see. Yeah, in Russian there's two types of you, but whatever. But still, it was all clearly related to me somehow, to my family. Catherine's note. Having them believe as much was already enough. Nikolai, Irina sighed. Have you completely forgotten about your obligation to our motherland? What about it? I don't remember having any at the first place. Her eyes flashed, but she managed to stay calm and continued. So you think you have it better here, in the country that killed your parents? Why should I trust you anyway? Better? I don't know. But until recently, I've been living a peaceful life before you dragged me into this. We didn't drag you into anything. On the contrary, we're trying to protect you. What wonderful protection. What does it amount to exactly? Irina sighed. In order to receive something, you need to give something in return first. But I don't have anything. Stop mocking me, she shouted suddenly. You know everything. Just tell me what the Japanese want and we can bring you home. Or do you think you managed to fool me? Bring you home, huh? He won't be able to fucking drink and live in a fucking penthouse. Motherfucker. Why would you think they need something from me if you were the aunts who called? At the moment, it's none of your business. And what do you expect from me? Irina calmed down in an instant and studied me with unblinking stare for some time. Fine, we handle it ourselves. You keep your head down, stay away from all this. That's it? That's simple? Would you like it to be complicated? I still have questions, which won't be answered if you want to live. If you're telling the truth, then the less you know, the better. Only sources of information have value. Ordinary students are of no interest to anyone. But be prepared to remain under surveillance for a while. By you? Us, among others, or do you want an accident to happen to you as well? I felt a strong dislike toward this woman. I couldn't believe that just 5 minutes ago I had been hoping for some quick sex with a random acquaintance. Oh my god. Also, in a way, I got what I wanted, except I was the one getting fucked. Yes, you got fucked, bro. In the ass. One more thing, behave normally. Nobody should know we've talked. I think I expose you. Go to school, hang out with your girlfriends, drink if nothing else. Thank you. The car stopped smoothly. We arrived. Get out. I could make out the silhouette of my house behind the window. Hope Himitsu didn't see me brought home like this. I had the time to think. And keep in mind, we do not repeat ourselves. So, do yourself a favor and remember everything I've just told you. ... The luxurious black sedan with blacked out windows disappeared around the corner almost silently. I stood at the entrance to my yard, mindlessly watching it go. That's when I started to shake. Almost spasm in fear. How had I managed to remain unworldly calm and think straight? My legs carried me to my house on their own accord. I closed the door. And the garden door. And another one. And all the windows. I had so many windows. I wished I had a gun. Why? You don't know how to shoot. You don't know anything. Bro, you like fucking miserable. I lay in bed staring into the darkness with dry eyes. It was obvious that the Chekists wouldn't come back. Why are they Chekists? They just KGB, you know, it's like fucking CIA, so relax. At least not today. And what about the Japanese? If they kept me under surveillance, they could have seen me hop into that car. The only hope I had was that those KGB agents knew what they were doing. Catherine, what did you drag me into? Oh, it's Catherine. Oh, so the Catherine is like one of the bad people. Okay. Because she was the one who, they wrote the first note, and she was, okay. Yeah. Okay, cooking. Probably we finally learned how to cook ourselves. Yay, no more Himitsu. My parents and I were returning from a countryside trip. We wanted to see the Japanese outdoors, observe the sakura blossoms. My father talked non-stop, but I wasn't listening to him. All my thoughts were centered around Catherine. We hadn't seen each other much over the break. I wondered if she missed me. I sure did. Mostly I think because I could stay at her place till late, as Mrs. Winters would usually come home long after midnight, so we could sit, lie, and stand. In the bedroom, guest room, bathroom, or even the hallway with walls thin enough to hear the neighbors walk by. Are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? My father shouted. But I had other things on my mind. And then I woke up in a hospital. Bruises, ambrosians, and a broken arm. Things could be way worse. Maybe if I had been listening to him. People always say it's better to sleep on it. Bullshit. Especially if you couldn't actually sleep the whole night. In this case, trying to sleep on it didn't help at all. I could barely think straight. In the past 8 hours, I imagined virtually everything, being interrogated in the confines of the KGB, being exposed to the ancient Japanese torture by people from the corporation, just being executed by a single shot to the head. It was all wrong. A human being can't feel fear constantly. At some point, the mind defense mechanisms kick in and you simply stop caring about anything that might happen to you. And unexpectedly, I realized that I was worried about Himitsu much more than about my own life. She was the closest person I had, meaning that they could get to her as well. Catherine, her mother could protect her, and somehow I was confident that she could take care of herself. A weak and cowardly person wouldn't have written that note, wouldn't have cared someone other than herself. Was she really worried about me? Yes, go back to her. A pleasant shiver ran through my entire body, a sensation I had seemingly long forgotten. What if she had her own circumstances I simply knew nothing about? And then, could I lose her too? It was incredibly difficult to answer the "who do I love" question even to myself. Himitsu, I love Himitsu. I personally love Himitsu, so... I mean, Catherine was hot too, how she was on the top of me, oh my god. But actually no, we like Kuyusoki. Or Michael. Michael is hot guy, he's fucking hot, especially in my current condition, yeah. There was one thing I knew for sure, both of them were important to me. Now more than ever. I rolled to my other side and looked at the clock. It was still pretty early, but I no longer had the energy to stay in bed. I could try to fall asleep, but Irina had given me clear instructions to behave as usual, which meant not skipping classes without a good reason. A hangover could be one, but I simply didn't have enough time yesterday to reach that point. Wobbling and grasping at the walls, I managed to walk to the kitchen. Coffee would be nice, but I never liked it, so I never had any at home. I only had tea and aspirin. Surprisingly, my head didn't ache. I sat down in a chair and came to my senses. Only a minute later, I had been staring thoughtlessly in front of me. Complete exhaustion. Maybe not coffee, but I definitely had alcohol. Just a couple glasses would make me sleep like a log. That's alcoholism. He's alcoholic, for sure. Irina's furious expression surfaced in my mind. Good thing she believed me. Although she didn't want to. She thought I was hiding something, lying to her. God, was this really happening? I pinched myself until I bled. Nope, not a dream. Somehow, hot tea brought me to my senses. Was it time to prepare for school? Although I didn't really have anything to prepare. My homework wasn't done, and I had no idea what classes I was even supposed to have today. That. Days were becoming shorter. I wouldn't already been light outside at this hour a week ago. I was slowly walking the familiar road, occasionally looking over my shoulder, but not too obviously someone could be watching me. Someone probably was, that's what Irina had said. So the KGB were around the corner. There were corporation goons behind the fence and Japanese counterintelligence in the bushes? I smirked despite myself. People say you can't find a positive side to any situation. I had once started to write a novel, then dropped it. It was about love, sure, but what would stop me from adding a detective subplot? Well, here's something positive about a poor student becoming prey to the powers that be. A Soviet-Japanese student. Like a mini Tom Clancy. Thomas Leo Clancy Jr. was an American novelist. He is best known for his technically detailed espionage and military science storylines set during and after the Cold War, alternative history stories, and techno-thriller. Except I didn't have a submarine to give to Americans and thus escape. Dead. I walked into the classroom and sat behind my desk. Was I the first in class today? Probably for the first time in my life. It wouldn't take long for me to start volunteering to go to the blackboard, get straight A's, and hang myself in the Hall of Fame. Oh my god, it was like hang myself like, you know, the rope. Motherfucker. Unless, of course, someone would hang me first in a less crowded place. A head of red hair appeared in the doorway. Nico-kun, are you here? Imagine that. I responded loudly. Why are you sneaking around? Nobody's here yet. Oh yeah, sorry. Himitsu laughed and walked to my desk. You weren't home this morning? Yeah, I couldn't sleep and decided to go to school early. Good. She smiled cutely. Good that you decided not to skip classes. Me? Skipping? I would never do that. I determined to become a straight A student and get into the top 10. You're, probably exaggerating. Fine, the top 20 then. Himitsu took a little parcel out of her backpack. Here, bento. Thank you. I was truly moved. Whatever happened in my life, only Himitsu's feeling towards me remained the same. Feelings I neither appreciated nor deserved. I wondered what would happen if back then No, I didn't want to know. Not at all. Are you okay? You look a bit weird today. I told you, didn't sleep well. Himitsu looked at me suspiciously, but clearly couldn't find a reason to pry further. Well, alright, are we going home together? What about lunch? I can't make it this time, sorry, have something to do with my classmates. What classmates? You have to cook for me, clean my dishes, and be my housewife. Well, alright, see you then. My god, Nico-kun, come on, you have to... whatever. See you. She smiled genially again and walked away. What did I even need a Catherine for? Catherine? You mean Himitsu? Students gradually started to fill the classroom. Many of them gave me surprised looks. Had they not expected to see Anakin this early or at all? Paying no attention to anyone in his path, Kuyosoki breezed into the classroom and started cheerfully greet all of the guys. Michael calmly sat behind his desk and opened one of his books. I thought that I should probably ask him at some point what is he reads all the time. I was constantly looking at the clock. There were just a few minutes left before the bell, but... And here came Catherine. Here we go again. She passed by, saying nothing but a short hi. I couldn't say she looked normal. I didn't even know what normal was for her anymore and what wasn't. I didn't know anything about her, didn't know her. The conversation with Irina and this whole spy thriller business shifted my mind away from Catherine and my never-ending romantic indecision. But I knew perfectly well that the main source of agitation for me was not the note itself, but the fact that Katya had been the one to write it. Of course, there was a chance that she'd written it with good intentions. She might have wanted to warn me about something, but really, it was like we were playing a goddamn game of charades. The lesson seemed to last forever. I was just like looking at the classmates. Why they're all girls? Literally everyone are girls, I just noticed. The lesson seemed to last forever. I wasn't listening to the teacher, all focused on my own thoughts. Yeah, but let me go to Blackboard. I answer, I had to decide what to do from now on. Keep my head down and act normally as per Rain's advice to try to find something out as per common sense. Maybe I was just a student, but I didn't want to trust other people with the right to determine my destiny like a cow on a farm. If I was lucky, the BB gun would break and I'll be allowed a couple extra days of grazing. Or maybe they'd handle me the traditional way, knocked out with a sledgehammer. And thought I had no one to ask about the KGB. There was someone other than Ellie I could ask about the corporation. During lunch, I approached Michael and offered to eat together with him. Great, let's go. What the fuck, Kuyosoki? Kuyosoki had been hovering nearby, apparently waiting for this right moment. You know, we have something to discuss. He looked at me with surprise. Adult stuff, not anime, you wouldn't understand. Screw you. Fucking Kuyosoki. Michael didn't react to my somewhat strange behavior in any way. I found a spot behind a vacant table, put Himitsu's band in front of me, and waited for Michael. Soon he returned with a tray in his hands and took the seat opposite from me. Pretty quick today. Yes, almost no Kia. Lucky you, he said calmly, pointing at my bento. Yeah, happens. I grinned like an idiot. The canteen was too noisy, so I proposed we finished our food quick and went up to the roof. Oh my god, look how cute they are together. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Look, that's what ending we deserve. We need something like that. How was your weekend, honey? Not quite as planned, my dear. What happened? Movies, sex, rock and roll. He replied briefly. Oh yeah, sorry. I get it, you must be having a lot of problems. Do you want me to help you? What makes you think that? It's pretty obvious. Obvious, is it? I'm like an open book to you. I'm fully open to you, Michael. I'm fucking open. So what do you want to talk about? You didn't invite Kuyosoki. Something serious? I still hadn't decided whether I could trust Michael, and if I did, then to what extent. Of course, telling him the whole truth would be a mistake, but if I wanted his help, I had to at least give him a general idea of the situation. Your father's work is related to Kobayashi Corporation, right? I'd say his company is just a business partner. What do they even do in this corporation? What kind of business? Michael looked surprised. What kind? All kinds. It's transnational company, remember? They work with virtually everything from stuffed animals to satellites. Well, that was already clear. Okay, what does your father's company do? Construction. What kind? Civil construction. That was close, but not quite it. I doubt my parents were killed over poorly designed bridge. Got it, thanks. Should I even ask why you interested? Probably not. I can ask my father something if you want. Dot, dot, dot. How was I supposed to respond to that? If what Michael said was true, it was unlikely that his father was connected to the corporation's shady dealings. No need, I don't think it will help me much. Nick, if you're involved in something dangerous, it might be better to talk to. He went silent for a second, remembering my family situation. An adult? Yeah, right. Adults haven't helped me much lately. In fact, adults have dragged me into this. I hope you know what you're doing. Me too. With the conversation seemingly over, Michael was about to return to our classroom. I'll hang around a bit longer, you go ahead. Sure. He shrugged. I wondered where Catherine had her lunch. I never saw her with the bento, and didn't recall her ever cooking it herself. I started to feel sleepy again. Luckily, the canteen had coffee. A few gulps of the nasty Sir Swill woke me up in an instant. Why no alcohol? Bro, next time, Nico-kun, I have to give you an advice. Next time, just don't be shy. Bring bottle of whiskey or bottle of vodka or tequila, I don't know what you drink, into the college. Sit on the back table into the class and just drink. Just drink and that's it. Motherfucker. Just like Japanese people had a low tolerance for alcohol, I had relatively low tolerance for caffeine. Okay. My heart was beating so hard, it felt like I just ran a 100-meter dash. Yeah, okay. Walking through the school corridors, I felt almost safe. After all, this place had too many people to... To what? Irina had told me that a resource that possesses information is a valuable resource. Therefore, it would be worthwhile to increase my value and hence my chance of survival by obtaining information. ... I returned to the classroom and I was interrogated by Kurosuke almost immediately. So? What? How did the lunch go? Fine. Good for you. He made an annoyed face, clearly expecting me to apologize for, or at least feel guilty. Let's talk about this another time, okay? ... For the rest of the day, I could only think about one thing. To be more precise, about a number of things that had recently brought variety into my life. May you live in interesting times, was it? I felt uncomfortable knowing that Catherine was sitting behind me. What if she was staring at my back all the time? Okay, let her fucking stare at your back. Let her stare. Why you care? What was she thinking about? What was she doing? Maybe she was writing another note? Drinking that coffee was a mistake. I couldn't sleep during class. I couldn't sleep during class. Damn. So he's like saying, damn, why I drink this coffee? I could sleep. I could have the best sleep ever during this class. Oh my god, the author, like, what were they thinking? I'm just really, really curious. The schoolboy is drinking alcohol. He's thinking that he's the center of the universe. He's trying to become some type of politician and explaining his bad grades. Not because of him missing classes or not doing homework, just because he is different. You know, he's a very inclusive student. Fuck. And why he's not living with his grandparents? I remember somebody said, like in the comments or somewhere I saw, that what the heck, why he has a grandparents? Why they never adopted him? Why he's underage? He's not a fully 18, so he's supposed to live with someone because he's underage. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I adopt anyone who tried to wake me up. Such behavior was the norm for Nikolai and Akin, and fighting it was as effective as jousting windmills. Irina told me to behave normally. Okay, so go back to sleep. If only I knew where the border of normalcy was drawn. Yeah. Class was finally over. How was your sleep, Nikolai-kun? I hope you slept well. The crowd at the shoe lockers was full of happy chatter. Some were about to go to the movies, some to karaoke, and some on dates. I changed my shoes and walked into the schoolyard, stopped for a minute, and felt infinitely alone as I watched students quickly walk past, paying zero attention to me. Like a yellow leaf in a river, caught on a piece of wood. But I wasn't the only one in this position. Catherine was standing at the gates, clearly waiting for someone with a bored expression on her face. She wasn't looking in my direction, but I wasn't moving either, simply because I didn't know what to say, not to mention I outright hadn't slept in 2 nights, and didn't have the mental energy to come up with something sensible to start a conversation with. Though I wasn't just afraid to approach her, I feared even to appear in her line of sight. Was I afraid she'd notice me? Was I afraid to simply walk out of the school gates, leave that safe territory? Finally, a car stopped near Catherine, and she got in. Since when was Catherine picked up from school like that, I wondered. Not everyone here had a personal driver. I couldn't remember Mrs. Winters doing anything like that before. Could she be in danger too? Nico-kun! Himitsu's cheerful voice came from behind me. I flinched in surprise and turned around. How was the bento? She asked, running up to me. Very good, thanks. I wouldn't be able to say what had been it even in my life depended on it. It definitely had some rice though. How was your day? Very tiring. I wondered if she saw me stand there staring at Catherine. What about you? Wonderful. We were getting ready for school festival. Our class wants to make a cafe. For a second she fell silent, embarrassed. Do you think I look good in a maid outfit? Yeah, let's play role-playing games. Yes, I'm sure you would. Will you come by? We'll have cupcakes and shortcakes and layered cakes, and I'm already practicing cooking them at home, but I'm not letting you try any yet just in case. Himitsu laughed and now looked absolutely innocent, so much so that I found it hard to look at her. What's your class gonna do? For the school festival, you mean? As if I knew. We're putting on The Prince and the Pauper. Really? No. Hey! We haven't decided yet. Graduation class, exams and all that. I lied. Let's go. I took Himitsu by the hand and left the schoolyard, looking straight ahead. Nico-kun. She weakly tried to protest, but her hand did not let go of mine. ... Himitsu kept telling me about her class plans for the school festival, but I wasn't really listening. Why was Catherine picked up by a car? Was that a one-time thing, or did this happen always from now on? She could not have noticed that yesterday I was basically in panic when I fled her apartment. Katya was a smart girl, and I would probably draw the right conclusions. To add to that, whatever reason she had to leave the note, Catherine clearly knew more than I. Oh my god, can you stop saying that, Himitsu? Like, it's already every single episode we have that. Every single episode. Hello, Earth to Nico-kun. Huh? What? You're sleeping on your feet. Himitsu said kindly. That's exactly it. Maybe you should stay at home today after all. Yeah, tell that to Irina. No, definitely shouldn't have. Definitely not today. Why not? I looked at Himitsu's beautiful, surprised face and knew what I had to do. I had to tell her what happened yesterday, because she too could be in danger, because she was the only person in the whole wide world who I could trust. What the fuck is that? Why out of nowhere you saying that? I love you. I said seriously. She stopped and froze with an expression of utter shock on her face. Nico-kun. We need to talk. I need to tell you something important. Himitsu's expression saddened. Strange, I was sure she'd be glad about the confession. Why do you say this now? It's not true. Let's go, we talk at home. She followed me limply, automatically, her head cast down. Oh my god, it's so random. Why? Why, author? Why you did this? Why? We were silently sitting in the kitchen, avoiding each other's eyes. What I had said about love, was it really necessary? Some words can be taken back, and I was sure Himitsu knew full well that I was telling the truth. At least that my words meant something different from what she wanted. But let be a noble lie, and I was able to tell her truth here and now, the truth that she had to know, the truth that was currently more important. Alright, so I took a deep breath, stood up from the chair and walked from one end kitchen to another. Promise you won't interrupt. Himitsu showed no reaction to my words. So it all started about a week ago. Oh my god. Why? You just have to skip it. I remember what happened. With Catherine's return, yes. But it's not only and not mainly about her. The same day in the evening, I found a note at my door. It asked me to be careful, said I was in danger because of my parents' work. After this word, she lifted up and gave me an uncomprehending look. Wait a second. I rushed to my room, took the note from a cabinet, returned to the kitchen and gave it to Himitsu. See, it's not a joke. Nico-kun. Wait, don't interrupt. I was very agitated and was looking at her, instead walking to the doors to the garden. But there's more. The next day I got a phone call in Russian and was told to be careful. Then I was followed in the city. And finally I was interrogated by a Soviet agent, a KGB agent. KGB, understand? I paused. Himitsu didn't react, just kept looking at me, but in addition to surprise, her eyes now also expressed worry and pity. She said my parents didn't die by a chance, that wasn't an accident. They were killed. But why? She uttered in a strained voice. Because of the work for Kobayashi Corporation, for that damned company. And she also warned that I'd be watched by, well, everyone who possibly can. I giggled nervously. Russians, Japanese, probably even Americans. Americans? Why not? They've got like a constant beef with the USSR. Okay. Although that was just my own speculation. Himitsu once again turned the note in her hand, studying it carefully. Did they write it? No, I don't know. That was probably enough truth for today. Considering her and Catherine's relationship, it wasn't hard to imagine that if I said the note was from the latter, she'd go for a knife. Wait, what? Considering her and Catherine's relationship, it wasn't hard to imagine that if I said the note was from the latter, she'd go for a knife. Oh, okay, I see. But the call was definitely made by someone from the KGB, that's what the agent said. And what do they want from you? Nothing, as she said. They want to protect me from Japanese, from Kobayashi Corporation. They said they think I have some kind of information data passed on by father. Do you? Himitsu said seriously. No, if I did, I would give them it all to them right away and kept on living peacefully. A long silence followed. I was desperately waiting for Himitsu's reaction. But she wouldn't say anything, just sat there, her feet on the chair, her arms around her knees, her face hidden behind them. Say something, please! Suddenly, she jumped off of the chair, ran up to me, and embraced me firmly, pushing her whole body up against me. Nico-kun, forgive me, please. Oh, she cheated on him. Okay, got it. Himitsu was bawling. Sunshine, what for? You didn't do anything wrong. No, she cheated. No, I didn't know that something like this happened to you. I was acting so terribly. I was only thinking about myself. Ah, okay. No, not at all. Nico-kun, I'm sorry. For a good while, we just stood there, wordless, droning in each other's embrace. Finally, I took Himitsu by the shoulders and gently pushed her away. The most important thing you should know is that I don't want to involve you. It's just the KGB, the corporation. Anything could happen. I'll help you, she said resolutely. No, absolutely not. I raised my voice, like a man. That KGB woman told me that not to show any sign that I might know something, told me. The act normally, and that's what we're going to do, got it? Himitsu pursued, her lips unhappily but conceded. Fine, but I won't be able to sleep well at night anymore. Yeah, well, we can sleep together. Let's sleep together. I'm not saying that I'm in no danger, but she's right about one thing. The Japanese need something from me, and they'll leave me alone when they realize I don't have it. If you think so. Himitsu smiled with some effort. She might read more romance novels than mysteries, but I wasn't as naive. Unwanted witnesses get disposed of. And when they realized I didn't have the information they needed, they would quickly figure out that I knew a lot of unwanted things about the corporation. And I really need to get some sleep. I'm not leaving, she protested. Remember what I told you? Act normally, don't arouse suspicion. But Nico-kun. No buts. For a little while, Himitsu fidgeted in place. Fine, but be careful. Careful where? At home? What am I at risk of here? Burning myself with hot water or sleeping in the bathroom? Oh my god, you said... You raised your voice, you started to act like Lemon. You said that you love her, and now you're saying, oh, what if I'm gonna sleep in the bathroom? Oh, what if I'm gonna put... What the fuck? Like, you're not a man, you're like a fucking... I grinned. Himitsu didn't react. She stepped close to me and said... And also... She rose on her tiptoes, pulled me close and gave me a firm kiss. Wait, she rose and pulled me close and gave me a firm kiss. I responded to it, but meekly, feigned surprise. For luck. Oh, in the cheek, probably. Okay. We all could use some. Himitsu left, while I remained in the kitchen, deliriously staring at the note on the table. I could use some sleep, but my exhaustion seemed to have passed the threshold where it unlocked a second wind. Where you are outwardly buoyant and full of vigor, but your mind can barely function. What the fuck is this combination of words? Oh my god! So I was simply staring into space, my mouth open, having forgotten where I was and what was happening. But the talk with Himitsu left behind a pressing feeling of underestimated and uncertainty. Was I really like a cow in a butchery going to wait and see what fate awaited me? And if only it was me alone, but who could help me now? Who knew about my parents' work? Ichinoza-san, the answer presented itself. The time for niceties had passed. If need be, I was ready to beat the information out of him. Oh my god, yeah, let's go punch him. Punch old man, yeah, yeah, you just need to punch Catherine, punch Himitsu, then punch children. Beautiful, that's a fucking Soviet man. Except nobody picked up the phone. I waited for at least a minute and received nothing but dial tones in response. Perhaps he wasn't home. I called again and again. Finally, an agitated female voice came from the receiver. Ichinoze household. Hello, I need to talk to your husband. My husband? The woman was clearly nervous. Who are you? I'm acquaintance. He's not here. When will he be back? He hasn't been home for several days. Do you know where my husband is? She shouted. I quickly hung up the phone. So they got to him too. Well, that was to be expected. My parents were killed. That Akira Shinji supposedly died from a heart attack. Ichinoze hadn't come back home in several days. Was the corporation really getting rid of witnesses? In that case, maybe it was a good thing I didn't know anything. Anyone who actually didn't seem to live long. And what was the difference between a human and a resource for them? I wanted to sleep so badly that no strength remained to worry about anything else. With effort, I reached my room and fell into the bed. I dreamed of having broken an arm, and instead of plaster, I was just giving a splint that constantly threatened to slip off. It also turned out that the arm was fine. I had been brazenly tricked by the hospital. Then Koyosoki came and started to loudly laugh at me, and finally the phone rang. I walked to it and answered, and heard Ichinoze-san's voice in the receiver. Hello, Nikolai, is that you? What are you doing there? ... But it wasn't the phone, it was the doorbell. Barely able to find my way around, I dragged myself out of bed and still half asleep went up to open the door. I found a young man wearing a uniform at my doorstep. Are you Anakin Nikolai? Well, yeah. He rummaged through his satchel and pulled out a small envelope. A tiny one, actually. I didn't know they made them that small. Sign here. He extended a clipboard to me with a piece of paper attached to it. Right here. I casually whipped off my scribble and smirked. Should I bring you the inkan too? Inkin is a personal seal used in Japan in place of signature. Inkan, okay. The courier gave me a weird look, bowed deeply and bid farewell. Have a good evening. It's a night time, you moron. In reality, I always use simple katakana, the alphabet, I know what is that. For my signature, we did, of course, create some problems in the legal sense, but was generally acceptable for a foreigner. The realization of what happened didn't come right away. Hiragana and katakana, yeah, two alphabets. I returned to my room and only then realized that I didn't usually receive letters, especially ones delivered by a courier. I hastily ripped the envelope open and took out a small folded piece of paper, a few sentences written on it. Nikolai, we need to talk. Urgently. Come to the waterfront after midnight and make sure you're not followed. We'll meet on the bridge. Ichinoze. I don't believe it. I reread the note several times. What if it was a trap? And it seems too complicated for people with that kind of power. For instance, I was home alone right now and always really. What stopped them from kidnapping or killing me? And the note was delivered right after my call to Ichinoze. It's midnight. Oi. No, sorry. What was even the time? I looked at the clock. It showed a few minutes past 11. So it's not midnight. It wouldn't take me more than an hour to reach the waterfront. I almost immediately decided that I would go to the meeting, simply trusting my instincts and logic. Now I just had to decide what to do about the surveillance. Ichinoze didn't even have to warn me. Going out somewhere at almost midnight was definitely not normal for me. But if I were to do it carefully, For some reason, I was confident that even if I was being watched, it wasn't the same way that watched James Bond or something. From the street, everything would look as if I had already gone to sleep. I turned off the light, sat down on the bed and waited, holding my breath and listening into the sounds coming from the street. Nothing. Or, well, nothing unusual. The first step and the hardest in situations like this. Then instincts take over. I took a few deep breaths, closed my eyes and focused on my breathing. Time to go. The door soundly opened, immediately closed when I ducked into the garden. Ducked, like solid snake. I crept to the fence. A few of the planks weren't nailed well and were easy to move aside. A moment later, I was in the alley behind the house. It didn't even have any lamppost, being just a narrow passage between two plots of land. And a couple minutes later, I was on my way to the station, trying to avoid my usual road. ... Only as I approached the station did I look back for the first time. If my surveillance had noticed me, they'd follow me to the end, giving them a reason to believe that being found wouldn't do me any good. If not, then only better. Okay, I think that's it for this episode. This episode, so weird. We didn't have any options to choose something, to hug Himitsu, to push back Himitsu, to kiss Michael or not to kiss Michael. So thank you very much, guys, for watching until the very end. Please join the channel, subscribe on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. In the description will be playlist with this game. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next episode.